Hey, everyone. Othania here from Create Your Future. Today I have a really fantastic video that I'm excited to get into with you guys. And it's talking about how to activate a timeline, how to actually activate the timeline that you actually want to be on. Okay, a desirable timeline. How do we make that happen? Okay, so I'm definitely going to get into details with that to make sure that you understand that on a better level so you can be able to manifest better. Um, I do have a new course. It's the Confidence Alchemy course. It's really good. It's really great. And it's going to work wonders for you. And if you're interested in that, there's definitely a link for that in the description box below. Also, one-on-one coaching with me is also available, as well as a free course from Create Your Future that can help you define your blocks and get rid of them. If you're interested in that, all of that, there are links for that in the description box below. So, yeah, I want to get into talking about how to activate timelines, but a timeline that you actually want to be on, because honestly speaking, we're always activating a timeline. We're always on some type of timeline. And how we get there is through your thoughts and feelings. So it's the same thing as if you're feeling down about yourself, you're feeling depressed about yourself, you feel like you won't be chosen, and then all of a sudden you start experiencing situations that, justify that, make you feel like that. It's the same thing if you reverse it and do it with greater things and more positive things about yourself instead. And that's how you activate a timeline where things are more desirable for you. Because it's not something where you see where things are being changed all the time around you. It's more so of a feeling. So when you feel yourself more calm, more peaceful, more relaxed, you're definitely on a path towards a timeline that's more desirable because your body, your subconscious is already getting the feeling. Okay. Um, it's the same thing as you feel like something is awful, you feel like something is not right, and then come to find out a situation created and came about that reflected that. It's the same thing. You were on a timeline that activated that through your thoughts and feelings. You activate timelines through your thoughts and feelings. If you want to get on a timeline where you're married to your person, then you have to activate within yourself the thoughts and feelings of the person that has that. It's kind of like you'll jump to that timeline unknowingly, unless you're really aware of what you're feeling and what you're thinking. um, you'll start to feel different, automatically start having different thought process. So say like you've been affirming for um, a relationship with your person. Let's just use that as an example. And you wanted a committed relationship. So you've been affirming, I'm in a committed relationship. Things are working out for me, such and such. My person loves me. You've been doing the whole everything that you should have been affirming for yourself. Um, and then next thing you know, you start feeling lighter within yourself. You start feeling more peaceful. You start feeling like you don't need to affirm anymore. You just start feeling like you have more mental space to focus on other things naturally. That is you on a timeline that is more desirable because of the feeling that you're getting towards it. So if you're feeling super anxious, it is because you are still choosing to dwell on thoughts that do not serve you. And it's causing like a chemical reaction in the body from your Okay. Back. I'm back. So if the thoughts in your mind are more towards what you don't want and you're visioning yourself not having what you want and you're seeing someone else having what you want, you're going to activate that timeline of seeing that because that's what you're telling your subconscious, and then the body has to take the inspired action, which it doesn't always realize it's doing. You don't realize you're taking inspired action, you always realize after, but your body will take the inspired action to put you in the experience that you dwelled upon in your subconscious. So through your thoughts and feelings, when you think about something and when you charge it even more with your feelings behind it, you're activating that timeline. Whether it's the embodiment of feeling calm or if you have the embodiment of feeling fear, you activate your own timeline. So it's not something that you should be afraid of, it's just something you should be aware of. And that's how you change it. What are you thinking? What you're thinking leads to feelings, whatever chemical reactions going on in the body. And then if you dwell in that state long enough, if you dwell in that, your subconscious starts to believe this is what you want to feel, this is what you want activated, and it will create timelines that match that to give you that same type of feeling as feedback. Um, I pray that I'm explaining that correctly, but um, that's how it happens. So, in order for you to activate a timeline that you want, you have to continuously come from a place of the version of you that actually has it. That will put you on that timeline. Because if you keep coming from a place of the version of you that doesn't have it, you're on the timeline that doesn't have it. Your subconscious doesn't understand that what you're going through, that you're constantly thinking, is something that you don't want. It only understands what you're constantly thinking, So that's why you may tend to feel like nothing is changing, and you may feel like you're not getting the movement that you want because you're still dominantly coming from a place of the person that's on the timeline that doesn't have it. Um, Everything has to match, everything has to align. When you impress the subconscious with a new belief, the body has new orders that it will automatically, naturally take from your state of being, your embodiment. So, to get from the timeline that you don't want to be on, where you're feeling rejected, where you're feeling like um, money is scarce, um, where you just feel like in general things are not working out for you, you have to change those thoughts because those thoughts are coming from your mind. Okay. You have to big yourself up. You have to, the person that's on a timeline that has everything they want, they big themselves up. They big themselves up. You cannot be afraid to big yourself up. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be the main character. Okay. Um, and that's just how you do it. It's easier said than done, yes, of course. But all it takes is understanding. When you understand something and you understand why and how it works, you're able to move with those tools and make better decisions. And those better decisions lead to better experiences, which will show you better evidence, which will give you better beliefs. And when that's continuously done repetitively, you should see more joyous things happening right in front of you for you to experience. So you just want to make sure, okay, what am I thinking about myself? Because whatever I'm thinking about myself in connection to whatever it is that I want, that's the timeline that I'm on. If I feel like I can't get this thing, then I'm on a timeline where I can't get it. So you want to always come from the place of having it. Um, when someone is wearing like a costume and it's a really good costume when they're portraying a character, their thoughts are coming from as if they're really that character. So you have to kind of think about it like that. If you're not used to thinking about yourself in the best ways, just kind of make it fun, make it like a game to yourself. Like, you know what, I'm gonna think better about myself and see what happens. Let me just test this out and see what happens. You can do it like that. And that will take some pressure off instead of, you don't want to make it feel like it's a chore. Um, give yourself grace, like I always say, but just make sure no matter what, you keep coming from a place as if you are already that person. You're the one that has it all. You're on a timeline where all of a sudden things just work out for you. The odds are always in your favor. Always. And keep that up. Big yourself up. That is the version of you that has everything that they want. They're not afraid to, they are, you know what? Put it like this. They are unapologetically themselves. And that's what you want to be in the best way. So to get from the timeline that, for example, if you feel there's something going on with your health, you want to see yourself as the version that is the healthiest, because how awesome, how amazing that will be. Why wouldn't you want to see yourself like that? See yourself healthy, see yourself smiling, see yourself going to the doctor and getting the results that everything just miraculously worked out and you're the healthiest version of yourself. Tell yourself right now that you are the healthiest version of yourself and you're the healthiest that you ever been. And tomorrow you're going to be even more healthier. And you always want to speak about yourself like that in your todays, because your tomorrows will always reflect that and be better. And that's how you get on better timelines. You're going through your days that are always changing from night and day. And depending on what you're thinking determines what timeline you're going to put yourself on. So if you're constantly thinking fearful thoughts, and that's what you're dominantly thinking, which would be suppressed in the subconscious, then you by on autopilot, you'll take actions that'll reflect that fear. And then you'll be on a more so of a fearful timeline. Okay, because your body follows what the mind thinks. So if you're thinking fear, you'll take action through fear. Everything will match your embodiment. Everything, your timeline will match your embodiment. So, what are you thinking? Because what you're dominantly thinking creates a feeling, which creates some type of reaction in the body, whether it's negative or positive or good or bad, however you want to see it. And whatever you settle in that feeling becomes your embodiment, which becomes your state, and you take actions, um, inspired actions. You lose your free will to your state, and it creates a timeline that you're on. Everything that you thought is like a big mumbo jumbo that is creating the synchronicities in your life as you move through time. So to get on the best timeline, always see yourself doing the most favorable things, having the most favorable things, having what you want to experience, because that's what we're here for. And a lot of the times, mostly all of the time, we create our own suffering. But a lot of the time, it is unknowingly, because if you're not aware of your thinking, if you're not aware that it's, you know, if you're not aware that you shouldn't be thinking a certain way, it just feels normal to you, and that's just how you think. And so you realize that there's another better way of thinking that would get you to where you want to be, you know? So just understand that in order for you to finally get to that timeline where you have it all, where things are progressing and working out for you, when you start getting that feeling of things falling into place, it comes from the momentum of what you've been thinking about yourself, your self concept and connection to everything. What was the momentum? Because that becomes your embodiment, and that becomes actual experiences that play out just specifically for you. So, I intend that you have a better understanding on how timelines work. You know, your timelines are just an embodiment of everything that you've been dwelling and thinking on in the past that you haven't changed yet. So, whatever you're thinking now or changing now will put you on a different timeline to come. And depending on what you're dominantly feeling, generates a timeline, and generates experiences on that timeline, I should say, that reflect that dominant feeling of your embodiment. So, I intend that that helped you a lot, and I intend that you get all your desires, and I intend that you are on the timeline where you have it all once and for all. So, until next time, guys, see ya.